A cursed girl, a heartless wizard, and a castle that walks across the sky. But behind the magic is a story about love, war, and finding yourself. This is Howl's Moving Castle, and it's not just a movie, it's a dream. It's a story that is to be told, and it's beautiful. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is your anime storyteller here again today to talk to you about one of the most beautiful anime movies from our favorite studio, Studio Ghibli, called Howl's Moving Castle. We're stepping into a world of magic, mystery, and moving castles, powered by a fire demon. Yes, that's correct. We're talking about this beautiful wonder called Howl's Moving Castle, a Studio Ghibli masterpiece directed by yours truly, Hayao Miyazaki. This movie isn't just a fairy tale, it isn't just a fantasy tale, it's an experience. It's a whimsical, emotional, and visually stunning ride that leaves you wondering if you've ever been through something so beautiful. But beneath all the magic and beauty lies a story about war, love, identity, and finding your place in the world. So sit back, relax, hit that subscribe button, and let's take a magical walk through the moving castle. So let's dive right into the story. Howl's Moving Castle follows Sophie, a quiet, responsible young woman who works in a hat shop. Her life is, let's be honest, kind of dull, but things take a wild turn when she crosses paths with a mysterious wizard named Howl, and shortly after is cursed by the Witch of the Waste, turning her into a 90-year-old woman. From there, Sophie sets off to undo the curse and stumbles upon a massive, living, breathing mechanical castle that trudges across the countryside like a steampunk tank. It's beautiful. On legs, it reminds me of Mortal Engines, but in anime form, and it's cooler. Inside the castle lives Howl, the same mysterious wizard, along with his fire demon buddy Calcifer, a young apprentice named Markle, and eventually Sophie herself. As Sophie and Howl's paths become more entwined, she uncovers more than just the secrets of Howl's magic. She's pulled into a war between kingdoms, and she must face powerful sorcery, inner demons, and a power of her own heart. But here's when it gets interesting, actually. Unlike typical fairy tales, this story doesn't lay out clear villains or easy answers. There's no evil witch. Okay, there's an evil witch, but there's no clear antagonists in the story. The war in the background feels chaotic and sensitive, and Howl, though powerful, is tormented and unpredictable. Howl's Moving Castle is less about straight narratives, and more about transformation, both physical and emotional. Sophie's journey is about discovering strength, while Howl's is about regaining humanity and learning to love selflessly. Now let's talk about the characters, because Howl's Moving Castle thrives on them. I mean, every good story is built on good characters. Sophie is honestly one of the most underrated heroines in anime. She starts off believing she's plain and unimportant, but with time, after being cursed, she shows courage, kindness, and a quiet strength that helps her not only survive, but change the people around her. And her curse, it fluctuates, it fluctuates, symbolizing her own self perception. The more confident and in love she becomes, the younger she appears, which is a very interesting concept and a very beautiful concept, showing kind of an age is just a number, and age is all in the mind, you know. Then we have Howl, a boy. Howl is mysterious, dramatic, vain, and powerful, and low-key relatable. He's a heartthrob, but not your kind of perfect Prince Charming. He throws tantrums about his hair dye, he avoids responsibilities, and he turns into a giant bird monster to escape conflict. Yet, underneath all that, he's compassionate and vulnerable. His journey is about finally growing up, confronting fear, and choosing to protect the ones he loves. Calcifer the Fire Demon is one of the most unique and charming side characters in the anime. He's a literal flame with sass, and attitude, but he's also the heart, literally the heart of the castle, and has a secret bond with Hal that adds on an emotional twist to the story. Marco, brings some comedic relief. You need some nice comedic reliefs in stories like this, so everything's not always serious all the time. And the Witch of the Waste, while starting off as a villain, goes through her own transformation and ends up in a surprisingly tender spot by the end, which is crazy when you think about it. Not a lot of, per se, normal kind of witches and evil characters go through that kind of journey through the story. Each character in this movie is layered. No one is all about, no one is all good or all evil. They evolve, they break the stereotypes, and they pull us deeper into this world with every scene, every panel, every story, and every action they take. It makes the story even more beautiful and feel more lived in. So, what makes Howl's Moving Castle so unforgettable? First off, the animation. It's jaw-dropping, for real. It's beautiful. If you haven't watched it, you should see it. It's dynamic, even today. From the detailed moving castles to the skies, it has that Studio Ghibli touch that they keep, bringing out beautiful stories. It's bustling with colors and magic. Every frame feels like a painting. Studio Ghibli, they don't joke around with their animation. They know how to animate scenes. They breathe, life, kind of lifelike stories, into them. The world feels lived in, magical, yet grounded. The soundtrack by Joe Hisaishi, absolute beauty. Merry-Go-Round of Life, might be one of the most emotionally powerful anime themes ever made. It captures the wonder, the melancholy, the beauty of the story and all its melody. But what I love most about the movie's emotional depth, it's emotion, it's beautiful. It drags you deeper. The more you watch it, it drags you deeper into its stories. It doesn't spoon feed you answers. It explores themes of aging, war, identity, and self-worth in subtle, poetic ways. It asks you to feel rather than just watch. It asks you to observe and learn and pick up on the nuances in the stories. It trusts you to be an adult. Also, on a side note, the anti-war message. It hits harder today than ever, to be honest, in this world we are living in. Miyazaki made this film in response to the Iraq War, and it's full of quiet resistance. The world feels absurd and unnecessary. But, much like in real life and the character's refusal to be swept up, it shows how we can choose to change things. It's powerful. Now, some say the plot is a bit scattered. Some people do say that. And sure, yeah, it is at some points. But I think it kind of builds on the chaotic nature of how life can be. I think that's the point, It mirrors the dreamlike nature of the world. You're not meant to understand every little thing. You don't understand some things happen and you don't understand why. Some things like you wanted them to happen this way, they happen the other way, but what life is all about is adapting. We are humans, we adapt and plan according to what is before us. You're meant to feel it, live it, and take from it what your heart tells you. So in the end, Howl's Moving Castle is more than just a movie, It's a magical experience about love, courage, and growing into who you really are. Wrinkles, wings, and all. So, thank you for joining me on this little journey through Howl's Moving Castle. Thank you for watching this video. It's one I've been wanting to make for a while because this is one of those, I grew up on Studio Ghibli films. They are honestly beautiful. They are part of those media, amongst others, but they are part of those media that made me decide that I wanted to be a storyteller. I wanted to write novels too and draw comics and everything, so it's beautiful. Thank you for watching. If you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your favorite scene, your favorite character. Write them down in the comments. And if you haven't, go watch it and come back and watch this video. Trust me, it's a dream worth experiencing for yourself. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and just all around have fun. Watch my other videos about different, we talk about different things on this channel, so we have content for everyone. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment sections. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.